When they talk about the case of the Honeymoon Killers, they usually focus on the headlines: the bizarre courtship, the dozens of victims, and the final electric chair sentence. But to truly understand how two people could descend into such a depraved partnership, you have to look at the single, horrifying detail that unlocked the whole conspiracy. This is a tale of lonely hearts, letters written in blood-red ink, and a crucial piece of evidence that almost got away. Our story begins in 1947, a time when personal classifieds, known then as Lonely Hearts ads, were the Tinder of their day. Imagine your typical target for these scams: a vulnerable widow with a modest fortune and an empty house. Enter Martha Beck. Martha was none of those things. She was a struggling single mother who had just lost her job at a children's hospital. She wasn't looking to scam a club. She had joined one out of pure, desperate loneliness. This is where she met her monster, Raymond Fernandez. Raymond was a slick, charismatic, pathological liar who made a living charming wealthy women and vanishing with their life savings. But when he met Martha, the dynamic shifted. Raymond wasn't deterred by Martha's appearance, and she was instantly, dangerously smitten. Raymond convinced Martha that they could be a team, telling her that their scams would fund a life for them. Their love story, however, would be built entirely on the bodies of their victims. Their method of operation was simple, but terrifyingly effective. Martha and Raymond would travel from town to town, scouring the personal ads for their next mark. But the twist was how they presented themselves. Martha would pose as Raymond's sister. This role instantly put their targets at ease, as no one suspected a doting sister of being part of a murder plot. But behind closed doors, Martha's jealousy was a volatile force. While Raymond played the part of the romantic suitor, Martha would boil with a lethal, possessive envy in the next room, despite being the one who often wrote the seductive letters herself. This jealousy finally reached a breaking point when they met Delphine Downing, a young widow in Michigan. Raymond and Martha moved into Delphine's home and began their predatory dance. But one morning, Delphine walked into the kitchen and saw the two sharing a moment that was decidedly not sibling-like. She saw the truth, and that realization sealed her fate. Within 48 hours, Delphine and her young daughter were murdered, their bodies buried in a freshly cemented patch of the cellar. What happened next is what truly haunts investigators. Instead of fleeing, Raymond and Martha made the inexplicably arrogant decision to stay and enjoy the house. They made breakfast, did laundry, and even went to a movie theater to see a comedy that same afternoon. They could have been states away by morning, but their arrogance anchored them to the crime scene. As they left for the movies, they called a moving company to take Delphine's furniture, but their nervous behavior caught the eye of a neighbor who was a true crime enthusiast herself. Suspicious of the Downings' sudden disappearance, the neighbor walked around the house and noticed a single, small red blotch on the back porch steps. It wasn't wine or jelly, it was fresh blood. The police were called, and the moving day quickly turned into a forensic investigation. When the new concrete in the basement was chipped away, the horrifying truth was recovered. In custody, the couple's relationship immediately imploded, with both flipping on each other to save their own skins, eventually confessing to a web of crimes spanning several states. The trial became a media sensation, but the most chilling moment came from the defense's final, desperate strategy. They argued that Martha couldn't be guilty because the very jealousy that drove her to kill was proof of her innocence. They claimed she was so pathologically possessive of Raymond that she would never have allowed another woman to live in a house with them, let alone marry him. Arguing her love was so terrifying it made the logistics of the murder impossible for her to participate in. The jury, however, saw through the manipulation. Martha Beck and Raymond Fernandez were both convicted, and on March 8, 1951, they were executed in the electric chair at Sing Sing, ending one of the most twisted chapters in criminal history.